from Facebook because earnings fell 12% to $205 million in the first 3 months of this year. Revenue slipped slightly from the end of 2011. Now, as we know, the group has been on a bit of a spending spree, recruiting 1,000 new staff, also buying hundreds of patents from Microsoft. Now, this all, of course, comes ahead of its stock market debut planned for later in this year. Well, let's talk more and everything about Facebook. Michelle Fleury joins us on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Michelle, let's start with more news or more information on these numbers. How did we get them, and I guess how are they being digested where you are today?
Well, it's really interesting, Aaron, because Facebook's filing with the SEC, its amended filing, provided lots of new financial detail and other details that we hadn't known previously. To get straight to the numbers, in terms of revenue, the company said it made $1.06 billion in revenue in the first quarter. That is much higher than, say, the same quarter a year ago. The problem comes when you look at the sort of profit it made after you take out costs and everything, and their net income actually fell compared to a year ago. It made a sort of profit of $205 million, but you have to compare that to a year ago when it actually made $233 million. So that's really what's going to worry investors, the fact that we're seeing more costs at Facebook even though revenue has risen, and that's something that I think will sort of weigh on the company moving forward. The company in response, though, said that a lot of this had to do with investments in technical infrastructure as well as the increasing number of staff.
Well, that's interesting. You say could weigh on the company going forward. Of course, you know very well, for months, everybody's been holding their breath for this big debut, the IPO, the launch sometime this year. Do you think, are we getting a sense that these numbers could have an impact on the IPO?
Well, I think certainly investors are kind of trying to pore over these numbers and extract what information they can. So, I mean, we've just talked about revenue and income, but there was lots of other interesting details, including the fact that just last Friday, it passed 500 million mobile users. This is obviously a massive growing area. And I think you just have to add to that the fact that this 500 million number doesn't even take into account the sort of users it hopes to gain from its recent purchase of Instagram, the sort of photography application. So moving forward, I think that's something people are going to be looking at as a huge opportunity. The question is, can Facebook make money on it? It's certainly trying very hard to try and sort of develop revenue models, advertising models to try and make money, and I think that's going to be the key. And if it can pull that off, then certainly investors will be very keen, looking forward to trying to invest in this company.
Yeah, well, we wait with bated breath as we've been doing for months. Okay, Michelle, great stuff. We'll talk to you soon. Michelle Fleury joining us from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Let's move